Well, it's Chris here. Just thought I'd do a start to the video, I guess. I recorded a video on YouTube a few days back now, and it's a real raw recording. I haven't got proper sound quality, but I just wanted to get a video out there around the topic of neuropathy and what it means for people. I'm not saying that it's the worst thing that can happen to a human, or for a human to go through, or someone to go through, but it does change your life, and you wouldn't really think it would. So for me, coming through chemo, after it, you start to realise that, well, first of all, I couldn't feed myself properly. I couldn't use a knife and fork, or hold a plate, or hold anything, hold a cup. I'd just drop it. So you realise quite quickly that how much you'd rely on actually being able to use your hands, but actually feeling something in your hands, actually knowing how much pressure or how much pressure not to apply. And that becomes very tricky. And from a work perspective, it meant I couldn't use a mouse anymore, couldn't use a keyboard. I mean, I've got my keyboard, normal keyboard, but now I just touch type. Well, I used to be able to type really quickly with all four fingers. I couldn't touch type, but close to that type of thing. But now I found I couldn't use the keyboard, so now I'm down to just two fingers, and I have to, even to this day, I have to consciously make sure that I look at what I'm typing and I look at the screen to make sure that, oh, that's my email, to make sure that I type the right thing. And more often than not, I haven't, and I've typed more than two letters at the same time simultaneously. I don't know I'm doing it. My mouse, I cut up some PVC pipe and attached it to the mouse so that I just slot my fingers in, because what I was finding was that I wouldn't know if I had the mouse still in my hand, because normally you don't, when you're doing stuff with the keyboard, you're not looking at the mouse, or you're not looking at the keyboard, you're looking at the screen. But I have to now, if the mouse is not moving, I have to think, I was thinking, is the mouse in my hand, and which way up is it? Is it the right way? Is it turned to the side? So, but also the other thing about neuropathy is it gives you pins and needles. So the more pressure you apply to your fingers, the more painful it becomes. If you've ever slept on your arm and you get that pins and needles sensation, you want to try and pump your hand to try and get rid of that sensation. But when you have it 24/7, it's, I think when I first was going through this, I wanted to almost chop my hands off. I just felt they were that useless that I just rather not have them than put up with it. But over the years, you, I guess, get used to it. My wife used to have to dress me because I couldn't do buttons up, undo buttons, do zippers. I can't undo necklaces or do up necklaces. Well, still can't do that unless I can see it. So it's not one of the worst things that obviously the humans go through, but it affects you in ways that you're just not conscious of. And going through chemo, I guess the drugs that they use do really do a lot of damage. And anyone that's been through chemo knows that it really does make you sick. what's running, what they're putting through your veins is saving your life. I mean, for me, I was diagnosed with bowel cancer, and I've had the majority of my large intestine removed, and so it was stage 3. So the prognosis for me was 50% survival after 5 years. 5-year survival rate was 50%. So it increased, I think, 70% with chemo. So it was worth doing, and I wouldn't have done it any other way. And if I had to go through chemo again, I would. But it's just a nice experience. The benefit of chemo was I lost 20 kilos through it, and then I've been fighting with weight issues all my life. But I've subsequently put all that back on, which is not good. But so going back to it, and my feet as well. My feet have the same problem. So I've lost balance. If I close my eyes, I can't balance, because you don't realise some of the balance is in your ear, but you also use the feeling in your feet to know whether you're tipping one side, tipping forward, tipping back. You actually use your feet. So if I close my eyes, I can't balance. And there's all sorts of other things that come from that. Putting shoes on is difficult. Putting flip-flops or thongs, as they call them in Australia, putting them on is difficult. Everything you have to see, like spanners, screwdrivers, all this sort of stuff. So I wanted to, and it's taken time, but I can operate a saw now. I can use spanners. I can use screwdrivers. I can do up my belt now. I can sort of do up buttons now. And I think the last thing was the guitar, actually. Whenever I picked it up after chemo, because you can't feel anything. You don't know where your hands are in relation to each other, but also on the fretboard, so you can't feel anything. You can't feel the strings. It's just so over I suppose it's now 2 years. I've got better at it. I've got better at it, and I guess that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, because it may seem like when you first get this, it's hard, and it impacts your life in so many ways. I mean, I was lucky. My boss and my co-workers were really supportive, and I'm very grateful for that. But in terms of affecting your the chickens are going mad. In terms of it affecting your life, if you're a mechanic, or if you're doing something that needs dexterity with your hands, precision with your hands, I mean, I'd hate to think what it'd be like for a surgeon going through this, or a mechanic, or somebody that needs to feel like undo nuts and things and that are out of sight, because anything like that precision, it would just really impact. So just be on the lookout, because if I'd have known what I know now, I would have told my doctors sooner that I was starting to experience more longer term. Because when you have chemo, you do get numbness, you do get neuropathy, but it goes. But I should have actually been more vocal with my doctors to say that the chemicals were really, the impact of the chemo as I was going through it was making this neuropathy more and more long lasting. I think if I'd have known what I know now, there's my chicken. Hello, Ariel. She's not well at the minute. But no, so if I didn't know what I know now, I would have watched. Just if you're going through chemo, watch for that sensation. Make sure that after you finish your round of chemo, that after a certain point of time, your hand sensations do come back, because if it starts to go like this, chances are it may not come back. And my oncologist said when this happened, it doesn't happen, and 80% of people, it does get better, or it does return back to normal. But for me, this is 3 years on, and this is going to be permanent. This is not going to change. But you do find that over time, it does get better. It does get easier. You want some food, do you guys? It does get easier, and that's just really the message. So I'll add this to the video and change it, because the video in itself, people may not people who don't know me may think, well, yeah, he's playing the guitar and he's playing it poorly and it's out of tune, and there's a few bum notes here and there, but in reality, I'm someone that has played guitar for a large portion of my life, and just showing that this has impacted me. And I thought, I actually was thinking about selling the guitars or getting rid of them, because it was so frustrating not being able to play it at all. So yeah, that was the reason for the video, I guess, to give people going through this hope, to say, yeah, it's not the end of the world. You will get through it. It does get better. It won't go away, but it does get better. Anyway, I'll add this in the front of my other video and just put the guitar playing at the end, so that it gives you perspective as to what I wanted the video to convey. And again, apologies for the sound quality. I'll probably invest in a better microphone to get, if I'm going to do this type of stuff more. I'm not sure if I will, just to get better audio. So again, thanks for listening. Thank you.